You know, we've all heard that meditation is good for us, right? But mantra meditation, that's in a league of its own. It actually uses sound as a biological tool to regulate your body and mind. Whether you're talking about the ancient Om, the Gayatri Mantra, or others, science is finally catching up and showing us how these vibrations trigger some seriously powerful changes in your brain. Changes you just can't get from sitting in silence. So, let's dive in.
All right, let's just start with a huge question. What if you could literally flip a switch on your anxiety? I know it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but recent fMRI and EEG studies are proving this isn't just some spiritual belief. It's straight up neurobiology. And we're about to break down exactly how this ancient practice pulls it off step by step.
So, where does it all begin? Well, the entire process kicks off with a single, simple domino, the physical vibration of sound. See, when you chant, you're not just making noise. You are creating a frequency that directly talks to your body's main relaxation pathway. And here's what's so cool about it. The mechanism is actually super simple. The vibration from your own vocal cords stimulates something called the vagus nerve. This is the longest cranial nerve in your body, and it sends a direct signal right up to your brain, basically saying, hey, everything's okay, you can relax. And just like that, it activates your parasympathetic nervous system, what we call the rest and digest mode, pulling you right out of that stressful state.
This brings us to the brain's fear switch, because that vagus nerve stimulation has a massive effect on the amygdala, your brain's fight-or-flight command center. And what functional MRI studies are showing us happens in there during chanting is, well, it's pretty remarkable.
And just look at the difference here. It's night and day. In a stressed out brain, the amygdala is lit up like a Christmas tree, constantly scanning for threats. But when researchers put people in an fMRI and had them chant Om, they saw a huge deactivation in the right amygdala. That's the part that handles fear and intense emotions. It's basically a kill switch for anxiety, and the button is the sound of your own voice.
Okay, so we've calmed the nervous system, we've deactivated the fear center, but what's actually happening to our consciousness? To find out, let's look at the brain's electrical activity, its brain waves, and see how chanting creates this really unique mental state.
So studies on mantras like the Mahamrityunjaya show this huge spike in both alpha and theta waves. This happens especially in the prefrontal cortex, which is your brain's CEO. This means you're not just zoning out, you're entering a state of relaxed alertness. Think about that. It's the absolute sweet spot for focus, creativity, and having real control over your thoughts. And get this, take a look at this data. This isn't from some lifelong monk who's been meditating on a mountaintop for 30 years. This is from someone totally new to meditation. After just 15 minutes of listening to the Gayatri Mantra, their brain starts producing more high-frequency gamma waves. These are the brain waves tied to peak performance, the kind of brain activity you see in world-class experts. It's just powerful proof that you don't need years of practice to tap into these amazing brain states. And because you don't need years of practice, this is where the science gets really practical. It turns out you can actually customize the effects of chanting just based on how you do it. The style of your practice can literally produce different cognitive results.
Now, this probably brings up a question a lot of you might have. Do I have to say it out loud for it to work? Is one style actually better than the other? Well, researchers were curious about that too, and it turns out the answer really depends on your goal.
A really fascinating study broke this down. They found that chanting out loud, what's traditionally known as Vaikari japa, led to way higher mindfulness scores. But get this, silent mental repetition, or manasika japa, was actually more effective for boosting short-term memory. So the takeaway is simple. If you want to be more present and mindful, chant out loud. If you're studying for an exam, chanting silently could be your new best friend.
So, whether you're chanting out loud or just in your head, what's happening on a chemical level that creates that amazing feeling of well-being? Well, the answer is in the incredible cocktail of neurochemicals it releases. Chanting basically turns your brain into its own pharmacy.
Yet chanting kicks off this incredible cascade of feel-good brain chemicals. It releases dopamine, which makes you feel motivated. It releases serotonin for that feeling of happiness and well-being. And it even releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone that makes us feel connected to others. It's this powerful symphony of neuropeptides creating a totally natural state of happiness.
And all of this leads to a really unique state that researchers call joyful awareness. Chanting is one of the very few things we know of that stimulates both your fight or flight system and your rest and digest system at the exact same time. This creates this incredible, rare feeling of being both totally calm and blissfully peaceful, but also wonderfully alert and alive.
So, after all this incredible science, what does it all boil down to? What's the big takeaway? Well,
Well, the best news of all is that you don't need to dedicate hours every day to get these benefits. The research points to a very specific and very doable sweet spot. And here it is. For people who are new to this, studies consistently show that just 12 to 15 minutes a day is the magic number to see real, measurable improvements in your mood, your memory, and your focus. And you don't even have to believe in it for the vibration to work its magic. Just pick a sound or a mantra you like, set a timer, and let your own biology do the rest.
And that leaves us with one final thought to ponder. We've just seen how a simple ancient practice, using nothing more than sound, can fundamentally change your nervous system, your brain waves, and your brain chemistry. So, if the vibration of your own voice holds that much power to rewrite your biology, just imagine what other untapped capabilities are waiting inside you to be discovered.